Stop. There's something you need to see before making any decisions. And most people that move here from out of state never even see this option until they've already bought a house in a neighborhood in Belton, Temple, or Salado. And every single one of them wishes someone would have told them this sooner. Now I'm going to show you exactly what that option looks like, what it actually costs, and how to figure out if this is right for you. My name is Trent Babb. I'm a land and commercial specialist in Central Texas, and I work with buyers making this exact decision every single week. But before we dive in, if you're actively looking to move to Bell County right now, whether you're coming from California, Colorado, Dallas-Fort Worth, Austin, Texas, or anywhere else, I want to talk to you. My number and a link to book a call with me is in the description below. Every week I talk to people who find me through these videos just like this one. Some of them are 6 months to make a decision to move, and some of them are 60 days away. Wherever you are in that process, reach out, give me a text. No pressure, no pitch, just a genuine conversation with someone who works this exact market every single day. Now let me show you what most people miss and wish someone had told them sooner. Now let me break down the full scope of Texas before we break down into Bell County. Texas added more new residents over any other state in 2024 and 2026, over 391,000 people. And the pattern is clear. People are moving outside those big cities, Dallas-Fort Worth, Austin, Texas. They're looking for land, they want space, they want a different quality of life, sometimes even old school quality of life of what those cities used to be, which is community. And they are finding that in counties just on the outskirts of those cities. Now, Bell County is one of those counties, but this is what most people researching this area do not realize until I show them on the map. From Bell County, you can reach downtown Austin in roughly an hour. You can reach San Antonio in 2 hours, Dallas-Fort Worth area in 2 hours, and Houston is the furthest, and you can reach that metroplex in just around 4 hours. I'm sure you've heard of the Texas Triangle, and this is it. And Bell County sits at the heart of it. You're not moving to a corner of Texas that takes 13 hours to drive across from to meet any major metroplex. You are at a geographical sweet spot right in the center of Texas, between the 4 largest economies in this state, with land prices, cost of living, acreage sizes, and availability that those cities lost decades ago. The reason why I stated that is because that context matters before we go over the land to build option. Because once you figure out where you're sitting on the Texas map, the value proposition becomes obvious. Now, when someone calls me and they say they're thinking about moving to the Bell County area, this is the first question I ask. Does the school district matter to you? Now, if the school district does matter to you, Belton ISD is where most families are already researching and ask me about. And I want to give you a clear and honest picture of what land inventory really looks like inside that district. Now, to the west in Belton Lake, it sits into the middle of just about all of Belton. Most land around there has already been subdivided and built out. And if you're looking for 2 to 5 acre tracts, it's pretty rare to find one. You're mostly looking at vacant lots and older properties that need to be remodeled in that area. Now, in the rare occasion that you are able to find 5 acres, you're going to be competing against residential developers. Now, from the south to southeast of Belton, land becomes more available. You can find land from anywhere from 20 to 50 acres. It is beautiful country, but the specific school in the Belton ISD serving that area may not always be the top rated school in the Belton school district. You may be able to pay for a transfer to a higher rated school district within the Belton ISD, but you need to verify that before you commit to a piece of land. I wouldn't just assume that you can transfer anywhere within the Belton ISD. Now, west of Belton on FM 93, you can find tracts of land from anywhere from 2 to 15 most, but sometimes you can find 25 acres available. The key is vacant land if you're looking to build on. It's scenic country out there, a lot of Texas hill country, which means you're dealing with rock that will inevitably affect the build costs, and if you have to drill a well, it'll also affect that cost as well. And the same school district scenario still applies. Now I'm going to tell you about the 2 top-rated school districts in Bell County. And one is Salado ISD. Now, Salado ISD is one of the most sought-after school districts in Central Texas, and that reputation comes with a price. Now, Salado ISD draws families specifically for this school district. There's a mix of military retirees, and families relocating from Georgetown and Austin. Now, Salado has a real family community built around those schools, the Salado Creek, and the 36-hole golf course. People choose Salado and plan their entire land search strictly trying to stay within that school district. And that demand is one of the reasons why land prices sit where they do in Salado. Now, there is an abundance of land in Salado to choose from 2 to 5 acre subdivisions, all the way to 100-acre plus ranches. Now, the general rule of thumb in Salado is anything west of Interstate 35 is more rocky terrain, your Texas hill country. It's harder and more expensive to build on. Now, anything east of I-35 gives you easier soil to build on, beautiful rolling hills, diversified trees. It's not all just oak trees, but it also gives you more flexibility when you start talking to your builder about what you want to build and the actual costs surrounding that. So east of I-35, your dollar goes a little further, but understand going in, Salado is the premium option in the Bell County market. The school district, the community, the 36-hole golf course, Mill Creek golf course, and the Salado Creek create an awesome little vibe, but understand you're going to pay for that. Now, I believe after last year, Troy, Texas is one of those ISDs that is starting to compete academically with Salado, Texas. Now, you can look that up for yourself, verify those two things, but you're going to get a lot more for your dollar if you're looking for royal land or royal areas in Troy, Texas. So if you want a little more acreage type, kind of the ranch style, lifestyle, horses, four-wheelers, hunting, fishing, those types of things, just for this number to be easy, it's about half the price per acre of Salado, because Troy, you don't have the little downtown area. There's a lot of land around there. However, you're still close to Belton and Temple and the Interstate 35. Now, let me show you something that I want everyone relocating to Texas watching this to see. There is an area east of I-35 between Salado and Belton, Texas, that I genuinely believe is the most beautiful country within 3 counties. You have rolling hills, diverse trees. It's not all just oak trees. You have cottonwood trees, creeks and rivers, a combination of rock and soil that gives the landscape a real texture and character. It is my favorite stretch of land inside this entire market. And because it sits between 2 cities that's not fully claimed by either one of them, there's still real opportunity out there, and you can find anywhere from 2 acres to sometimes 100 acres, and also where the price point makes sense. And depending on how far north or how far south you are, you're either in the Belton ISD or the Salado ISD. Now, if the school district does not matter to you, the whole county opens up for you. And here's how I kind of think about it in plain terms. Now, Salado is the high-end market. We've covered that, right? One of the highly sought after school districts, strong community. You have the golf course and the Salado Creek that create a community vibe. Beautiful land, and if Salado fits your budget, in my opinion, it earns everything it charges. Now, Belton sits in the middle, and it has more infrastructure closer to nearby services. You may not always get a lake view, but you can still get that bigger town atmosphere. You have a lot more choices of food to choose from than Salado, but finding 2 to 10 acres in Belton takes a little more patience, and you also have more competition. You'll be going up against commercial developers and residential developers as well. But the price points are more accessible than Salado, but the available acreage is more limited. Now, Troy is the entry point in this market for your royal lifestyle buyers. So horses, cows, hunting, fishing, take the four-wheeler out, build a barn dominium. There's land in every direction, and the price point also reflects that. If your budget is the driving factor and the royal lifestyle matters to you, Troy, Texas gives you the most land for your money inside Bell County. I want to drop a little nugget here. There is a little stretch of land between Interstate 35, west of Interstate 35, and east of Highway 317 that could rival what I just described between Salado and Belton. That is just a beautiful little stretch, and is also close to Interstate 35. If you can't tell from me, the accessibility to Interstate 35, the access to it and how easy it is to get there matters a lot, because you have the best of both worlds. You can hop on the interstate to reach any of the major metroplexes in Texas, but you also have the elbow room to do whatever you want to on your piece of land. Now, most people driving through Troy on Interstate 35 never stop to look over there. That's their loss, and that's your opportunity. So when you're thinking about where to start your search, think about it this way. Salado, Belton, and Troy are 3 different price points, 3 different lifestyles, and 3 different versions of what Central Texas actually looks like. My job is to figure out which one of those fits who you actually are and what you're actually looking for, not just what looks good on a map. Now that we have that whole picture taken care of, let's actually talk about the numbers that surprise most people relocating to Texas. Because when most people hear buy land and build your own home, they imagine 2 numbers, the land cost and the build costs. But that's the furthest truth from reality, and I would rather show you this before you fall in love with a piece of land that you cannot fully afford to develop. So here's what a realistic land to build budget cost looks like in Bell County 2026. And I'm going to niche this down just to Salado, so this video isn't 45 minutes long. So 2 acres, let's say inside Hidden Springs, is anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000, just the land itself. Now, a new construction home in Central Texas runs anywhere from $200 to $250 per square foot, as with a solid finish out. Now, just to do the math, 2,500 square foot with a home at $250 per square foot, that is $625,000 to build with a very nice finish out. But if you want any high-end upgrades, special designs, or if you want a pool in the backyard, that's definitely going to drive those prices up. Now, what a lot of people do not realize in Salado is that the infrastructure throughout the whole entirety of the ETJ or even the Bell County that is within the Salado ISD, there's not a lot of it. So more times than not, you'll have to be on your own septic system, and you need to budget anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 depending on the type of septic system you have, the type of topography you're digging in, whether that's rock or just loamy soil. And also in a lot of cases, you have to have a private well. So if you're on the east side of I-35, you're looking at rock, and you need to budget anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000 depending on if you're in rock or loamy soil and how deep the well needs to be drilled. So these are not hard numbers, but these are a general rule of thumb of what these services cost in this area. Now, electricity, and this is what a lot of people are not talking about. Some areas in Bell County have this infrastructure built out, and some areas do not. If you don't see power lines running along the road, you need to find out 2 things. Is it running along the public access, or is it on a private easement? If it's on a private easement, you will have to negotiate with that owner an easement to get electricity from their property over to your property. That conversation is not always easy. It's not always easy to contact that owner, and sometimes it comes with a fee. Now you add all of that up with Salado infrastructure, and you get a realistic price of $900,000, or sometimes over $1 million all in, depending on where you are in Salado. But before those numbers stop you, understand 2 things. That is a fully custom home on 2 acres that you own now, and is in a desirable community in Central Texas. The comparable lifestyle in Austin or even the Texas Hill Country could time and a half and double that price. And second, there's a way to structure the financing of this process that can save you real money right out of the gate, and most people don't even know to ask. So before you do anything else, talk to your lender about a construction to permanent loan. So this helps consolidate the fees that come with buying land and then financing the construction loan. So the general idea is to do all of that in one and not to have to pay 2 sets of fees. That alone could save you thousands of dollars by eliminating one loan and consolidating that into just one single loan. The sequence of financing this matters as much as you paying for the land. Now, sometimes that may not always be the case just because of timing. You may find a piece of land that you simply cannot wait on, so you have to go ahead and buy it. There's more than one way to skin a cat, but I'm just saying, just be aware of all of the costs associated with this process. Now, finding the right piece of land is one part of this, but finding the right builder is another in itself. And I want to introduce you to a company. When a buyer asks who I genuinely trust for a custom home build, I send them to Michael Reed and Alex Sanchez at Jason Bowen Custom Home Builders. And here's why I put my name next to theirs. Michael and Alec both spent years building homes for Dries Homes, one of the largest and most established builders in Texas. They learned the craft at a high volume rate, and then they finally made the decision to go out on their own, build their own custom home builds, because they wanted to build homes with more attention to the client, more accountability on the job site, and more direct communication throughout the whole process. And these are good people who do very good work. And if you're serious about building a custom home in Central Texas, their website is jasebowenbuilders.com. Tell them Trent sent you. Their link is in the description below. So that is the honest picture of buying land and building your home in Bell County, Texas, the geography, the lifestyle breakdown by area, what it actually costs, and a way to structure the financing so you do not leave money on the table. If I helped you today, subscribe. I cover land and commercial real estate specifically in Central Texas, and there's a lot more coming. And if you want to understand what's actually happening within this marketplace, the land prices inside Bell County, what is selling, what is sitting, and what the MLS data is showing in this market in 2026. I have a video right here that breaks down all of those numbers. You can watch that one next. My number is right here. Please give me a text. If you call me, I may or may not answer. I've been getting so many spam calls that I have just not picked up the phone unless I have you saved in my contacts. So give me a text if you want to reach out. No pressure, no obligation. Just a genuine conversation about your goals, where you at right now, what your situation is, and any advice I can give on how to reach those goals. Now, if you're busy, you have to reach out down the road. I also have a link in the description below to book a call with Trent. Again, no pressure, no obligation, just a genuine conversation. Either way, I'm happy to talk to anyone about real estate here in Central Texas. I'm Trent Babb, your Central Texas land and commercial agent. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one.